Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Solar Eclipse Activations with me, Megan Mermaid. And if you're new to my work, my name is Megan Mermaid, and I teach feminine energy with the magic of the mermaids of Sirius. And I'm so excited for all of you to be here in this really powerful portal. Yes, we already have a few people in the chat, so feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're joining from, how your day is going. I want to hear from you. Betsy is sharing, good afternoon, Megan. The veil has truly been thin the last few days. I love that you brought that up, Betsy. We're going to talk more about that today and how the eclipse season is a time where we're really, really close to source and we're connected to the higher realms, but we're also coming face to face with our shadow. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the solar eclipse. We're going to be doing some powerful activations, getting some messages from my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck, and answering some questions if you guys have questions. So as everyone is starting to hop on, feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're joining from, how your day is going. Hi, Rhea. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I love that we have our beautiful community around the world. Hi, Info Prism. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So the solar eclipse is officially done, but we are now in that space of the 2 weeks between solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, which we call eclipse season. So during eclipse season, we are going through a huge transformation. Hi, Richard. Thank you for being here. So excited to have you all here. Hi, Danielle from Columbus, is it Columbus, George, in Washington State? Sorry, sometimes the writing is a little small, so I hope I got that right. But yeah, so the solar eclipses are always about the self. It's changes to ourself, internal changes. And the lunar eclipses are always about relationships. So what we're going to discover today in this solar eclipse energy is some type of transformation when it comes to ourself, how we view ourselves, how we're showing up, how others see us. And then as we move into the full moon and lunar eclipse that's taking place on October 28th, that's when we are going to experience changes or transformations when it comes to our relationships and how we show up in relationships. So this is a new moon on steroids. That's a good way to describe solar eclipses. Whatever the sign is in during a solar eclipse, that energy is amplified. So, because the moon is in Libra, the qualities of Libra are being amplified. So, beauty, justice, balance, fairness, hearts, all the really amazing Venusian qualities of life. So, what I was getting, oh, nice. Richard is from Lac du Bonnet, Manitoba, Canada. Oh man, you guys are giving me tongue twisters today. Hope I said that right. Hi, Bodhisatnam. Welcome, everyone. Welcome from wherever you are in the world. So, with this Libra energy, this is an opportunity, I feel like, where we are kind of not only receiving justice back in our lives if it feels like things have been lost, especially during Venus and Mercury retrograde. And if it feels like, things just haven't been working out, haven't been going our way for a while now, there is this moment where we're experiencing restoration. But restoration takes time. So it's not like an instant thing where we're going to wake up and everything is just beautiful again. Wouldn't that be nice? But this is a moment where we're starting to see the glimmers of hope. We're starting to see the little tiny moments where this transformation is beginning to show itself and materialize. This moon is also quincunx to Uranus. So that means that we might have breakthroughs or epiphanies or aha moments where suddenly things just start to make sense. Now, a couple things that I do want to share about eclipse energy is that it's not really suggested to set intentions during an eclipse. So on a regular new moon, we would set our intentions and we would sort of put out into the universe what we want to create over the next 4 weeks. For a solar eclipse and new moon, it's more of this wild card energy where we're sort of just being asked to surrender, to let go, and allow the universe to surprise us and show us things that we would not have thought of ourselves. Now, going back to this energy of Libra and this feeling of injustice, right now it feels like there's a lot of conflict and a lot of unrest all over the world. There's a war going on in Israel, and there's things that are happening, inhumane things every single day all over the world. And this a feeling of injustice, this feeling of why is this happening? Why does there have to be suffering in the world? It's completely normal and very human to have these feelings and these emotions. And so, whatever is arising, whether it's in your individual life, if you feel like you're experiencing conflict, or if you're looking out on what's happening in the collective, yeah, Richard's sharing, relax and see the beauty around you, especially in nature. That's such a great tip. Thank you for sharing that, Richard. We have to understand that. There is a bigger picture, and chaos always turns back into peace. It always does. And so if we're in that moment in our individual lives, especially where it feels like we're in a space of chaos, where it feels like we're in a space of unrest, know that this light of the solar eclipse is bringing up all of the things that we need to look at, that we need to honor, that we need to acknowledge, so that we can welcome this peace in. um, let's see. Thank you for that question, Bodhi. So I'm going to be answering questions at the end. So go ahead and save that question. I'll try to scroll back up. I don't know if I can actually scroll back up. So if you could actually hold on to that question, I'll get to that when we move into the question and answers. Yeah, Info Prism is sharing no need to choose sides, choose yourself. And that's a really important perspective, because the idea of separation is actually an illusion. And I'm not going to go into all of the metaphysical reasons for that today, but I mean, just this idea of separation, it's really only on this space of density, when in reality we are all one. We are all part of source consciousness. We are all fractals of God consciousness. And so today I'm going to be pulling some cards from my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck, to give us some ideas of the themes that are coming through in this moon, and how we can sort of be open to those lessons and be open to these soul experiences that want to come through. Hi, Tim. Good to see you. Welcome from the UK. Good to have you here. Let's see. Yeah, I love all of the beautiful comments that are coming through in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for sharing and being a part of today's conversation. So, all right, let's see. I'm doing a star spread today. So that includes 6 cards that will give us an overview of the current situation, how to step forward, perhaps any challenges or obstacles we need to be aware of, the actions to take, other possibilities, and then a synthesis of everything. So the first card that we have today is Crown Yourself. And the Mermaid Empowerment for Crown Yourself is I crown myself as the star of my reality. So I feel like a lot of us are having to pick ourselves back up. Perhaps you've gone through a dark night of the soul moment, or many moments. I feel like I am a dark night of the soul veteran. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, oh, great, here's another dark night of the soul. Bring it on, I guess. Yay, there's pearls here. But, in all seriousness, we've gone through a lot. And this past summer, with all of the energy, it's really, affected our ability to trust in ourselves, to trust in the universe. And it's also created a resiliency. We've seen how much we can actually overcome, and how no matter what comes up against us, we'll always be okay. So this card, Crown Yourself, is just reminding us that we don't have to wait for someone else to say that we have the credentials or that we're prepared or that we're ready. We are ready and we can crown ourselves as the star of our reality. Yeah, a lot of us are sharing crazy energy, almost too much, and that we are worthy. I love that. So in this solar eclipse, this is our opportunity to just stand up and say, I'm taking my power back. I'm putting the crown back on of my sovereignty and recognizing that I do have a choice. I have a choice. I can choose to be a victim, or I can choose to see that everything that's happening is happening for me, and that no matter what, I will always be okay. And as light workers or star seeds or whatever you want to call yourself, sometimes I don't even like labels anymore. Like, even when I think of the term star seed now, I'm just like, ugh, like I'm over it. I just want to be a being. But when we think about who we are and why we're choosing to awaken to a higher level of consciousness, what is the reason for that? Why would we be doing that? And the reason is so that we can show others that it's possible. Not that we can fix them or do the work for them, but we can show them that it's possible. And it's also for us to sort of be that really strong, grounded space of calm in all of the chaos, because there will be more chaos. We're moving into higher and higher levels of consciousness, but it's sort of like this almost like a lemniscate. If you see a lemniscate where it's like the infinity symbol, it's like, we're going to go up to a higher level of consciousness and receive an aha moment. And then we're going to go back down into the humanity and the suffering and the separation and forget. And then we'll have that moment of, oh yeah, everything is love. It's all perfect. Everything is divine. And then we're like, oh my God, I'm suffering again. And we have to understand that it's this dance, and it's not supposed to be all beautiful all of the time. And we can't just stay in the higher realms and be like, ooh, I know all of the secrets of the universe, so good luck, humans. Like, we're all in this together. And the only way that we can be successful is if we bring this energy down from the higher realms and ground it into our human experience. There's no getting out of our human experience. There's no spaceship that's going to come and rescue you. We all chose to be here, and we all have to get through this together as a team. So how do we do that in a good way without losing our marbles? The advice card that we have is relax. I relax my mind and enjoy this moment. And so this is an opportunity when you feel that unease, that unrest, when something individually or collectively is coming up that's rocking you, that's shaking you to your core, especially in these next few weeks in the eclipse portal. Everybody's stuff is coming up. Yeah, Richard is sharing breathe. And, when you just take that moment of pause and you just witness what's happening instead of immediately wanting to react or immediately wanting to say that thing or do that thing. It's that moment of that pause, that brief moment that can shift everything for you. And so it also means that we're here to relax our minds and to be present, because everybody else, for the most part, is going to be feeling lost, feeling confused, struggling. And so it's important that we maintain our boundaries while also being compassionate and kind. I've had a lot of interactions in the past few days. I don't know about you guys, but I had some conflict come up with some friends of mine, with my parents, with my co-parent, and I'm just like, oh my God. But at the end of the day, I was able to sort of step back and realize, like, wow, if I would have had this conversation 6 months ago, a year ago, even like a month ago, it may have gone very different. And so sometimes we go through these difficult experiences, especially when it comes to confrontations with other people and the shadows of other people and our shadows, like kind of interacting with each other, bouncing off of each other. Take those moments of acknowledgement to recognize the work that you've been doing and how you're able to approach those situations and diffuse those situations and bring a sense of peace into those situations, because that's really what we're here to do. But we can only do that if we're willing to relax our mind. So the challenge that we have here is attention. And the mermaid empowerment for attention is my attention attracts my reality. So you've got to contemplate over the next few weeks on what you're paying attention to. Are you paying attention to what's not going well? Are you paying attention to what's not here yet? Are you paying attention to the things that are bringing you down, that are lowering your vibration? Or are you focusing your attention on what you want to call in, on gratitude, on grace? That's another really powerful word, is grace, especially when it comes to navigating our reality alongside everyone else's reality. Grace is this really beautiful medicine of source consciousness. It flows like a waterfall and comes down like a dove of peace, and just allows ourselves to have this moment of just understanding that we're all doing the best that we can. And these experiences of triggering that we have, of conflict, we have to understand that it's just a part of the vehicle of our human body. When we stepped into a human form, we inherited all of the wounds, shame, guilt, separation, rejection, just to name a few. Fun wounds, right? And so we're all kind of like interacting with these wounds, but these wounds also have these really powerful gifts when we understand that they're not personal and that we're all experiencing them. So the correct action is acceptance. And the mermaid empowerment for acceptance is I accept what is and create from there. Now, I've been a student of the Gene Keys for a few years now, really seriously over the last year. And what the Gene Keys teaches in accepting our shadow is three words, really simple: allow, accept, embrace. So acceptance is that second step. But if you're not quite there yet and you're like, how can I accept this situation? It's awful. I don't want to be in this situation. Or how can I accept that this person is treating me this way? Or how can I accept that I'm not where I want to be? Okay, that's the second step. You don't have to accept it right off the bat. It's not always easy to accept it, but can you allow it? Okay, I don't like this, but I can allow it. That's like a little bit of spaciousness around it, a little bit of grace. And then the acceptance part is recognizing, okay, maybe I don't like that I'm here, but I'm going to accept it. I'm going to be right here and create from there. And then the final step is embracing it. When we move towards those things rather than away from them, that's when the real healing and the real magic occurs. And it was interesting because I was listening to another spiritual teacher talk today, and I've sort of been on the fence about this person for a while. And I'm not going to share her name just because it's not really relevant. But the message that she was sharing is that almost like we're running out of time, and like we're in this pressure cooker, and the universe is like forcing everyone to go through all of the things that they're like most afraid of, and like we're all running out of time. And what I realized from watching that is the idea of discernment, and recognizing that not everybody's truth is going to match up with ours. And that didn't feel true for me. What's actually been coming through for me is this feeling of recognizing that there's more than enough time, that we're in a space of timelessness. That's where the present moment takes us, into a space of the eternal now. And when we accept that we don't have to rush, that we don't have to force things to happen, that we don't have to make things happen, all of a sudden, these really magical solutions and miracles start to come through. But it all starts with this acceptance of where we are. And also in this recognizing that when we move towards the things that we're fearful of, rather than try to avoid them or run from them, oftentimes we discover our inner power, and we also overcome those things in a much more simple way. I believe it was Alan Watts that said that the only thing that we should do with our fears is to dive straight into them, because it's like we create all of these stories of what they are, when in reality, if we just go right into it, we're going to discover the pearl, we're going to figure out the lesson, and we're going to learn through the process. Yeah, and I love all of the comments that are coming through. Thank you guys for contributing about divine timing and discernment and all of that. I love it. I'm glad that it's resonating with you. So the other kind of other possibilities today is the flow. And the mermaid empowerment for the flow is everything I need flows easily to me. And it's interesting when it's all sort of coming together, right? When we decide, hey, I'm taking ownership of my life, I'm crowning. What does it mean to crown ourselves as a star of our reality? First of all, it means that we're no longer a victim to life. It means that we're taking responsibility for our actions. We're taking responsibility for our part. We're honoring our humanness and our divinity at the same time without making ourselves wrong for either or diminishing one in in favor of the other. And so when we crown ourselves and we step into our personal power, when we relax our mind, when we accept what is, when we focus our attention on the things that uplift us or focus our attention on being of support to other people, that's when we step into the flow. And everything I need flows easily to me. Even if you forget all of the other mermaid empowerments, write that one down because it's so helpful when you're in a space of struggle or when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, how is this going to work? Or you feel like you're trying too hard to make things happen. Just say that everything I need flows easily to me. That's why mermaid consciousness focuses on the energy of the mermaid, because the mermaid is an archetype that represents both the mind and the heart, with the water being like our emotions and intuition, and that human aspect of the mermaid being the mind. So it's like the mind and the emotions kind of swimming through this water of consciousness, right? It's a way to kind of look at how we're in this experiment of life. And so when we step into mermaid consciousness, whether you identify in your gender as masculine or feminine, mermaid or merman, it's the same thing. We're flowing through that water. We're flowing through the situations, and we see life as an adventure rather than, oh my God, this is coming up, or oh my God, that's coming up, and you start to be in fear. Instead, you're like, all right, like, let's do it. Let's move right into that flow. And that's why in the solar eclipse, we don't really make intentions, because we're here to step into the flow. And when we step into the flow, things start to happen synchronistically. We start to arrive at the perfect divine time for everything. And that's when we can really relax, because we know that if it's here, it's supposed to be here. If it's not here, it's not supposed to be here. And whatever will be, will be. And no matter what, will always be okay. Sounds easy, right? In theory. um, yeah. So the final synthesis of putting all this information together is approval. And the mermaid empowerment for approval is I approve of myself completely. So we're not here to please everyone. We're not here to be liked by everyone. It's not possible, because if we're all expressing different fractals of God consciousness, we're not going to be for everyone. And if you are ever if you ever hear from others that their work or their book or their codex is for everyone needs this thing, that's wrong. It's wrong, because there's no way that everybody could have the same thing. There's no way. We're all different. So what we need to understand is that we need to approve of ourselves. When we approve of ourselves and we see like, okay, my version of humanity, my version that's expressed through me, is perfect for me. And when we're authentically who we are, then everybody else that's in alignment, all the situations that are in alignment with us, are going to come through. And so what we really need to understand is that it's really, really simple. It's really simple. We make it super complicated, but it's really, really simple. We just need to trust ourselves, and we need to trust the universe, and we need to trust in the flow of life. And that's what this solar eclipse is giving us. It's sort of shining the light on any areas in our life, in our body, in our heart, in our consciousness that are in fear, that feel separate, that feel like we are not a part of that universal love, that universal flow. And so sometimes it might feel uncomfortable when we have to see those parts, because it might mean contemplating or working through old emotions or old stories. And it does take work. But when you're willing to look at that with compassion, with grace, then you receive this really powerful reintegration of you. It's almost like the mythology of Isis rescuing Osiris when he was in all of these pieces and she brought him back together. It's this allegory of taking those parts of ourselves, those unintegrated parts of ourselves, and bringing them back into wholeness. And when we step back into a space of wholeness, that's when we keep going back in that trajectory of, oh yeah, it's all love, everything's good, and then we got to go back down again, and we got to be of service. And so that's really what it is this solar eclipse is preparing us to heal ourselves first of all. And then when we step into the lunar eclipse, because I know someone had been asking in the chat what the lunar eclipse means, and I'll be doing a separate activation and live about that when we get there, is once we heal that self, how we can be in relationship with others, how we can be of service, how we can really step into our humanity. What we're going to see, especially as we move into this year and we move into later chapters, is that this idea of being a leader to the masses, it's sort of falling away. So we're going to see a shift where there's this idea of synarchy, where it's going to be small, almost like pods, like mermaids are pods, like groups of people. We're going to start to see that where like there's smaller communities that are coming together and working together rather than this very large mass infrastructure. And we also are going to see that especially, this is interesting that this is coming through to share today, but this idea of being spiritual without a human component, that's going to be falling apart too, where the only way that we can be of service is to be fully in our humanity, and not to be so far removed from our humanity that we're no longer relatable. So we're going to see lots of shifts about the changes and transformations that are coming through, and it's going to be different for all of us. But the sort of pearl that we can take from all of this is that wherever you are right now is perfect. However your life is right now is perfect. And you might be saying, how can this be perfect when it feels awful, or I feel this way or that way? And that's okay. Feel that and recognize the totality of your experience, that you can feel sadness and joy at the same time, that you can feel suffering and ecstasy. You can experience all of it. But in order to really step into the full potential of your human experience, you've got to be present for everything, and you've got to dive into those fears. And when you dive into those fears, you're going to see that there is nothing to be afraid of at all, because really at the end of the day, it's all love. It's all just this really beautiful, very complex hologram that we're in right now, that feels really real. Anyway, let's move into our activation. So we're gonna just do a quick activation today to not only receive and integrate the energies of this solar eclipse, but also to be available as a source of balance, as a source of service to everyone else on this planet. I've been reading this book, Tears to Triumph by Marianne Williamson, and it's really a powerful book, especially if you're going through difficult times or a dark night of the soul. Hi, welcome, Cosmic Librarian. I really highly recommend that book. And she was talking about how in the Course of Miracles, which is another sacred text, that there's this idea that we believe falsely that we are a separate sunbeam from the sun, or we're a wave that's separate from the ocean. And when we see ourselves as separate, not only do we invite that fear of the ego, because the separation is what creates the fear, but it also creates this false egoic belief that we're not interconnected with everyone else. And And when you start to really begin to awaken, I mean, yeah, like manifesting and creating your reality, that's cool, right? But it's just one rung on the ladder. It's just part of the truth. It's not the whole truth. Once you start to really understand on a deeper level that we are all one and that everything that happens to us affects everyone else, and that how we approach life affects the earth, and it affects everyone around us. When we see that interconnectedness, then a lot of that a lot of that ego starts to kind of dissipate on its own, because we start to see how we're all needed and we're all important, and how important our influence is, how important our actions are. And so what we need to do is we really need to recognize that what's happening to humanity is happening to us. What's happening to the earth is happening to us. And so that's a really big truth to take in and to swallow. And oftentimes it comes in little moments of integration. And then, we might have a moment where we have to sort of uh, be with what's coming up before we step forward. But today's activation is really just this reminder of our unity, and that if we can take this energy, this group collective energy, and rather than using it to think about what we want to visualize, what we want to create in our individual lives, I really have felt called today to use this energy to just send love and harmony and grace to every being on this planet, and everything that is a part of this planet. And so that's what we're going to be doing today with the Mermaids of Sirius. So go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep inhale in and get centered into this space. So, you can place your feet flat on the floor. You can sit in a lotus position, but you're going to just want to be in a space where you're not distracted. And remember, this has an automatic replay, so you can always return back to this. And if you're not in a space where you can really dive deep, just consider waiting and really receiving when you have the time. And so just go ahead and close your eyes and just take a deep inhale in, exhaling it out. And as you continue to breathe, just imagine that this beautiful light directly from source consciousness begins to descend like a dove of peace. And it flows like a waterfall through your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, your root chakra, all the way down to your feet. And this light begins to pour out of you, creating a bubble of white light around you. And this bubble of white light begins to shift and change into pinks and purples and blues and greens. And we're now being surrounded by the rainbow light energy of Sirius that will support us in our travels today. We call in the High Council of Sirian Elders and the Mermaids of Sirius and the Big Cat Council of Sirius. And we also welcome in and activate our Pyramid of Light, welcoming in Isis before us, Hathor to our left, Sekhmet to our right. We call in the beautiful Celtic sovereignty goddesses, including Bridget and the Morrigan and Queen Maeve and Ermid and Eru. And we welcome any of other guides or angels or ascended masters that you personally work with and would like to welcome into this space, or animal totems. And we just ask that this space be surrounded by only the highest vibrations of love, truth, healing, and peace. And we choose to align with the highest frequency of love, the highest good of all, and the highest timeline for all. So now my etheric body is stepping out of my body into the room with you and gently pulling your etheric body out of your body. And a stargate begins to appear above our head. And we are taken up, up, up across dimensional frequencies and realities. Up, up, up across stars, planets, and galaxies. Up, up, up. And the elevator doors open. And we step through all of this really beautiful blue mist out into Sirius B. And we are stepping forward into this really beautiful, almost like a foresty area, like an enchanted forest I'm seeing. So it may feel like you can see all of these vibrant colors of trees and plants and flowers, and perhaps, you're hearing the sounds of animals, and above you is this beautiful starry night sky, and we're walking through this forest. And as we walk, just imagine that all of this density, all of this fear, all of this anguish, all of the resentment, all of this stuff is just being drained out of you. Uh, when we talk about the seals, the sacred seals and the seven subtle bodies, Sirius is connected to the monadic body, which is really the highest frequencies of light and information that's available to us. And that's why the mermaids are connected to Sirius, because when we can step into this place of high frequency, we can release all of the stuff from our human experience, and we can take in this light and we can bring it down into the lower realms of our mental, our astral, and our physical body. And so as we continue to walk through this forest, we step out into this beautiful space. It's almost like this little cove, this water that, and you might see waterfalls and birds of paradise at the edge of this space, at the edge of this forest. And as we step into the waters, you might begin to experience that you are shape-shifting into your mermaid or your merman form. And you are just beginning to feel this connection with the water, the waters of Sirius, that has an intelligence that is beyond our human understanding. So as you step into these waters, you might feel already activations or breakthroughs that are happening as you are being awakened into a higher level of seeing things from a space of grace, of compassion, of universal love, of transcendence, of omniscience. And so as you just feel into this water, just allow yourself to swim through these waters, you might begin to see the tails of our other community members or the mermaids of Sirius, as we're just having this moment of just relaxation, of allowing ourselves to just feel that flow of the water, recognizing the strength of water, the intelligence of water that allows us to mold and form into whatever is needed or expected of us. And so the mermaids are beginning to crowd around us and creating almost like this lemniscate form of that figure eight. So they're swimming around all of us and they're singing in this beautiful, beautiful light language. And as we swim in these waters, you might begin to see that there's this very powerful moon that's above us, and this sun. And oftentimes, it's been said that the sun and Sirius have this connection, and that Sirius is actually almost like the second sun to our Earth. So you might begin to feel this solar transmission as all of these rays of the sun are starting to begin to materialize and fall into the waters. And each of these rays represent all of the different rays of all of the fractals of all of the different members of our human population. And this is just a moment to see this beautiful harmony and this unity of everything as we're stepping into this higher space. This is called mind mapping. So we step into a higher frequency energy, and when we kind of get a taste of this higher frequency energy, we can use it as a map in our consciousness to go back to when we get stuck in the separation or the depth or the heaviness of our human experience. So just allow the energy and the rays of the sun, the rays of the moon, you might even begin to see them sort of dancing with each other above us in the sky, creating this energy vortex of the eclipse in Libra. And so as we feel this energy and as the mermaids are singing, I just want you to just place both hands over your heart and just take a moment to, first of all, pause and have gratitude for your human experience. Gratitude that you are here, that you are alive, that you are breathing, that you are well, that you have clean water, that you have food to eat, that you have a roof over your head, that you have people that love you, that you have a computer or a smartphone or whatever it is that you're listening to this or watching this on. Just think about that feeling of gratitude. Let it wash over you. And as you feel the energies of the sun and the moon coming together in this really powerful energy of Libra, allow yourself to bring that energy of gratitude from your heart into your solar plexus, filling this space with radiance, filling this space with more light, filling you with the beautiful divine qualities of Libra, of diplomacy, of beauty, of balance, of really being able to approach life with so much beauty, being able to take and transmute the pain into beauty. And so I just want you, as you really bring in this energy of gratitude, to take a moment to really think about all of the people that are suffering in the world at this moment. And this energy of gratitude that we have created, and this energy, this bright light of the sun, of Sirius, allow all of it to begin to emit this ray of grace and universal love pouring out of your solar plexus. And imagine that you are sending this light, you are sending this love to, maybe you're imagining that it's surrounding the whole earth with this beautiful white light. Or maybe you want to send it to a specific area of the world. Or maybe you want to send it to the earth itself. Or maybe you want to send it to the animals, or you want to send it to the plants or the trees. Or maybe you just want it to go wherever it's needed most. And I want you to begin to imagine that you can see all of the ley lines, the energy grid of the earth. And that as we are in this space, this beautiful safe space of Sirius, where we have access to such high frequency information, such beautiful light that can transcend all of the limitations of our human experience. Imagine that you are sending this light into all of the areas of the energy grid of the earth, and that this light is beginning to balance out the dark energies. We don't need to call them out. We don't need to name them. All we need to know is that we are here to serve as pillars of service, of light, of grace, of compassion, and that we are sending out all of these high frequencies to every being, to every space on this earth that is experiencing pain or suffering or lack or separation or fear. And we are sending this light to where it is needed most. And so as you just take this moment to just send light, allow whatever feelings that are arising within you to arise. Perhaps you're feeling deep emotions. Perhaps you might be feeling the grief that others are experiencing, and know that it is safe to experience these feelings and to welcome them into this really safe space of compassion and joy and unity, and that this Syrian light is beginning to pour forth across this planet as we come together in this space of unity and of love. And so now, just begin to allow that light and love energy to complete and to send wherever it's needed most. And you may begin to see that these beautiful, almost like pink raindrops are beginning to fall down. And these pink raindrops represent this water that is in the pink ray of cosmic divine love. And so we're now receiving back for our generosity, for our service to humanity, of sending out that love. We are receiving that love back. We are receiving new solutions. We are receiving aha moments and epiphanies and abundance, whatever resources you need, whatever clarity you need in your life. Know that you as a being have the space to step within and to get those answers within yourself, that you can crown yourself to be that space of understanding, to unlock whatever needs to be unlocked in your life. And so let's just take a moment to integrate all of the light and the information that is available in this solar eclipse. And perhaps you might receive a message, or perhaps Something might be coming through as an action step for you to do, or perhaps you're just here to simply soak this up and allow it to go wherever it needs to go, to clear whatever needs to be cleared. So just take another moment to enjoy these waters of Sirius, to dance with the mermaids, to feel the lightness of your divine form, so that we can take this memory and encode it within our DNA. And so the Stargate is beginning to appear above our head, and we are taken up, up, up across dimensional frequencies and realities, up, up, up across stars, planets, and galaxies, up, up, up. And the elevator doors open, and we step back into the room that we're seated in. So your etheric body steps back into your body, and my etheric body steps back into mine, and the sacred space is now closed. So just take a moment to allow yourself to come back into your body, maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. Whatever you need to do, perhaps take a drink of water and come back into this space. And I'm going to open the chat now if anyone wants to share about their experiences, or if anyone has any questions. Also, since it's new moon, I've started a new offering of offering mermaid moon readings. So it gives you an overview of the whole lunar cycle. And if anyone else would like one, I have that link in the chat. Today is the last day. So otherwise, if you don't get yours in today, then I'm going to be opening this offering every new moon. So you'll have the opportunity to do that. You can also visit my website if you'd like to set up a personal session or galactic channeled reading, or if you'd like to purchase the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck, you can do all of that at meganmermaid.com. And Betsy's sharing, wow, amazing feeling moving back into my body. Info Prism is sharing, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone that's here, and just for being a part of it, and just taking this moment out of our day to just send love to humanity, recognizing that as we do that, we are also receiving that. So Bodhisatnam is sharing, please explain how both eclipses, especially the lunar, will affect relationships, both family and especially romantic, especially negativity of our shadow. Wow. Okay. That's a lot. So I'm going to break it down one at a time. So, we talked a lot about today the solar eclipse in Libra, and how it's really about finding balance in ourselves, about finding this justice that we may have lost, and really kind of healing ourselves. That the light of the solar eclipse is bringing that light of healing. Now, when we get into the lunar eclipse, this lunar eclipse is going to be in Taurus. So Taurus is all about what we value and how we value ourselves. And it's also a time where we have to look at what we're doing. We have to look at, whether we're doing things in a way that's hard, or whether we're doing things in a way that is easy. And so what we need to understand in this lunar eclipse in Taurus is that whatever's happening in our relationships, we need to make sure that what our relationships are showing us is, are they valuing us? Are we valuing ourselves when it comes to relationships? And if we're experiencing conflicts, then that's going to tell you, where the work is. And, when it comes to our shadow and the shadow of others, that's just the work. This is the eclipse portal between the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. That's the time where everybody's stuff is coming up. So the more that we can just, really have this compassion as well as grace for ourselves and for everyone else, the easier it's going to be to navigate these times. Yay. Betsy sharing lots of love and light to the world. Danielle is sharing beautiful and lovely to send together to all across the planet. Megan sharing, thank you so much. I'm feeling so much love for all. I love that. Thank you everyone for being here and being a part of this activation today. And again, if you'd like to work with me, you can check out my website at meganmermaid.com, and I will see all of you very soon. So I hope that you have a wonderful solar eclipse. Thank you so much, and take care.